My first film study video of the week that's Ravens related post victory over the Bengals is going to be about Lamar Jackson and his performance against Cincinnati, not just on Thursday Night Football as the Ravens go to 7-3, but throughout his career. It's not meant from a disrespectful standpoint to say that the Bengals defense has proven to be the perfect foil. At times they have pushed Lamar to evolve or maybe to his limits in terms of using his athleticism in certain moments of the game. He put up basically two more iconic plays against the Bengals on Thursday night. He's played 12 games against Cincinnati in his career. I think in his rookie season, 2018, he got on the field some. So if you go look at some of the stats or breakdowns in terms of a quarterback's record against a particular franchise, he comes up as 10-2. But we all know as a starting quarterback, he's actually 10-1. At this point, he's won 4 games in a row. He's got a 1-point win Thursday night against the Bengals, 3-point win in overtime in week 5 of this season on the road, and then a 3-point win on the road in Cincinnati last year early in 2023. Now that stretch is coming off of a period of time where Cincinnati had won 4 of 5 against the Ravens. Beginning, they had a 41-21 win against the Ravens in week 7 in 2021. Lamar didn't play in the rematch later in that season. Really, it was a mismatch in terms of who we were able to put on the field against Cincinnati's offense. That was the only loss to the Bengals so far in his career as a starter. Like I said, he briefly played in a game his rookie year of 2018. I don't think he even threw a pass. I believe he ran the ball a couple of times while on the field at the same time as Joe Flacco. On Thursday, not only did he produce, two more career highlights, that third quarter scramble and then the jump man fadeaway pass to Bateman to win the game-winning touchdown. His scramble here, I think, really gets the crowd into a frenzy. I've rewatched the broadcast a little bit Saturday afternoon. Like I said, I was delayed 24 to 30 hours in terms of getting my videos out for this week, so my apologies for that. But he took over in the fourth quarter. If you go look at the stats, first of all, we scored 4 touchdowns in a row to finish the game. Todd Monken's offense, I think, had figured out some things that we could get done against Cincinnati's defense, scoring touchdowns on 4 consecutive drives, essentially after Marlon Humphrey forced a fumble by Chase Brown halfway through the third quarter. In his last 4 games against the Bengals, Lamar is, not only is he 4-0, but he's lighting them up through the air and with his legs at certain times. I'm going to focus on the big plays, the special plays that he's made in his career against Cincinnati. In 2019, he, of course, had 2 wins as a starter. He was 36 of 50 with 3 touchdowns, and then he had the historic run, 47-yard touchdown run as we won in a runaway, 49-13. That run was iconic. Well, all he's done since then, pretty much each season, is put up other iconic plays against a Bengals team that clearly has improved since that time. 2021, they make it to the Super Bowl. 2022, they lose an AFC Championship game to the Chiefs. Theoretically, we could face them again. I actually think their schedule to finish the season includes two more difficult games that people are kind of counting as wins for them, including their upcoming game against the Chargers. Last season was the first with Todd Monken in Baltimore. And not only did Lamar go 2-0 against the Bengals, but he delivered a pair of plays that maybe we won't remember in his career highlight reel, but how do you actually go cut that? Where do you cut that number at for career highlights for Lamar? 10 plays? I feel like that's unfair because there's probably 30 of them that would warrant, for most players, there might be 50 or 60 at this point. It's truly unbelievable how many plays he's made either with his legs or throwing the football so far. Maybe because he's a quote, dual threat dynamic quarterback, maybe that opens up the possibility for more actual career highlight plays to be put on film. Nonetheless, I think that his career highlight film is going to match up with damn near anybody. I'm talking about like Bo Jackson, Deion Sanders type guys. Bo Jackson obviously had a shortened NFL career because of injury, but some of the guys who have had so many highlights every season, Lamar Jackson, I think already is going to stand up to those players, and that's pretty crazy to find ourselves saying he's not even reached 30 years old yet. Coming into this year, he has the stiff arm scramble against Sam Hubbard that turns into the touchdown pass to Isaiah Likely. We overcame 3 separate 10-point deficits against Cincinnati in that road win in week 5. What he did Thursday night is just a continuation of that. So I'll show the scramble one time here and talk about a couple of the elements of it. I was a little upset, and I almost always am when we go empty. But that we go empty into the boundary actually kind of benefits us a little bit here. Justice Hill steps out of bounds. He ends up being one of the guys that gets a block down here in the goal line. I think Mark Andrews is the other. He ends up boxing a player out. And then this effort by Tyler Linderbaum was spectacular. He looks like, they talk about receivers being able to adjust or adapt during the play, and some can, and some are really good, some are just not. Linderbaum looks like, if he was a receiver, one of those guys who can adjust or adapt during the play really quickly, really easily. He just seems to have another level of awareness. Another thing to mention here is because Lamar is dropping back and kind of gets so much depth, it makes B.J. Hill's path look like a, quote, win, and also puts a player in a quarterback contained situation, B.J. Hill, and he played really well, but he's not used to being QB contained. Hendrickson, Sam Hubbard, guys that are more athletic, longer arms, a bigger frame are used to that. That plays a role here, in my opinion. If Lamar was in here, which it doesn't make sense for him to be because Trey Hendrickson is one on the stunt, we have tremendous difficulty, I think, with these stunts, these switch rush stunts. It's a little bit of a adaptation for how they got it done over here on the right side versus here on the left, but we're focusing on Lamar, so he's got to kind of fade away to our top left of the screen, his right-hand side, and that puts B.J. Hill in quarterback contain. He's just not capable of doing that. If it weren't for Hendrickson there, Lamar would have probably not needed so much of the sideline. The juke, the little move that he gives to the inside here, holds Pratt. It doesn't really hold him. It holds Pratt. And because it holds Pratt, Lamar is able to sneak back underneath of Linderbaum's block. It's actually Pratt who makes first contact. Were it not for Pratt's great hustle, it probably goes down as a touchdown for Lamar. I can't help but be reminded of all the things he's done against Cincinnati, not just throughout his career, but in the last 2 years with Monken running the offense. This is, of course, against Cincinnati on the road last year. I think it's late second quarter, and we're going up top. Maybe it's late first quarter, going up top to Zay Flowers. That's not necessarily on Lamar's career highlight reel, but he's made so many big plays against this team. It seems easy to forget about some of them. This actually ends up being a short pass to Dax Hill that really should not occur. And what I mean by that is the Bengals are running a perfectly timed stunt with a nickel DB. I think it's actually Dax Hill. And then Justice Hill, I may have misspoke a moment ago. Justice Hill is the running back. So it's crazy that two brothers are in the backfield within 5 feet of each other. And Lamar just easily dodges him off the pump fake and flips it out there to Justice Hill for what ends up being, I think, a 7-yard gain that should have been a loss on the play. Finally, on that game at Cincinnati last year, this is late fourth quarter. We're up 27-24. The Bengals end up running a 3+1 stunt here, basically a 3-man rush with a spy. In this case, that spy is Logan Wilson. They're also double-teaming Mark Andrews. This is a 3rd and 2, 3rd and 2.5, something like that. I thought that Lou Anarumo made a mistake here, not getting the ball out of Lamar's hands earlier, and he scrambles for an easy first down. If you don't recall, this is the one where he kind of comes up limping after the play. He didn't want to go out of bounds because that would stop the clock. Perhaps he should slide once there's more space there. But the point is, Lou Anarumo and the Bengals defense have a lot of talent. They have a lot of athleticism, guys who play hard. No matter what they have done, especially since Todd Monken showed up, it just hasn't worked. Lamar's had an answer for it, whether it was scrambling to throw a touchdown, whether it was throwing from the pocket. We ate him up last year. OBJ, no matter who he went up against last season, especially in that home game in Week 11, he gave them tremendous problems. Lamar throws a touchdown pass to Rashad Bateman here later on. He's just had an answer. He's had a great feel for what Cincinnati's doing, especially in second halves. Look at the second half performance this year. This is his touchdown pass to Rashad Bateman. Bateman's only one of last year. Why am I showing you this? Because it's eerily similar to the way he beats CTB on Thursday night. Now, it's an out-breaking route. He's releasing to the outside. My apologies. I'll get that cut out of the way. So it's not the same exact type of route because he went to the outside and then brought his route back in. But he loses CTB once he puts his foot in the ground and changes direction. He's really given Cam Taylor-Britt problems in the last 2 years. Thursday night, I thought he was open another 3 or 4 times against CTB, but either wasn't targeted because someone else was open, or we didn't have time to just get him the football. Week 2, we all know the pass that I was going to show here, the play that I was going to show here. The fumbled snap that technically goes down as a fumble for Lamar. He's on a knee, picks it up. Can you imagine being a Bengals fan in that stadium, watching that happen in that moment? It was 38-28 here. I believe we're talking about 5:45, 5:50 left when the ball was snapped. And it's a 2nd and goal from the 6. Seeing him fumble the ball, retreat all the way back to the 22, and get stung, we don't get the view here because the NFL cameraman, that's probably how all the Bengals fans felt. I can only imagine how they feel now watching him. Look, Joe Burrow lit us up too, for real. We cannot match up with them this year under our current defensive structure. That's clear. But they haven't been able to win any football games against us the last 2 seasons. Is it possible we see them again? Sure, Cincinnati can end up playing really well. A stunt up top here. This is back to the scramble from Thursday night. Trey Hendrickson, clear path. They're kind of funneling, pushing Lamar to the right. We're fortunate this is B.J. Hill and not Sam Hubbard. If it was Sam Hubbard, well, yes. Is it possible Lamar stiff arms him again? Sure, okay. But because B.J. Hill doesn't have as much athleticism, I think Lamar fades back here intentionally. You guys lost it from the frame there. My apologies. I think Lamar actually stepped back a moment ago away from the line of scrimmage to force B.J. Hill to come forward a little bit and then take him to the sideline. If it were an actual defensive end, edge defender, outside linebacker, Lamar wouldn't have needed to, been able, to get all the way over there. You're talking about a less agile guy. In this case, the stunt, though it works for the Bengals, accomplishing what they wanted to accomplish over here, Hendrickson getting a free rush to the inside, they end up with the wrong guy as a quarterback contain, and Lamar makes it work. This is, Monken called it, I think, calling 2 plays in one. I'm not necessarily sure that he, being Monken, planned for Lamar to have an escape outlet to the right with the offensive line on the left being unable to handle a stunt, but he makes it look right. It's truly unbelievable, the guy that we've got back there, and it extends beyond just plays where he uses his legs. That's pretty obvious. Speed out on a 3rd and 3, again, against CTB. I thought CTB played really well early in the game, but this is that 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, after we'd gone hurry up out of 21 personnel. So we came up to the line quick here. So we've got Ricard, Andrews, Derrick Henry still in the game. We ran the ball on the 2nd down play and then hurried back up to the line on this 3rd and 3 to get the matchup we wanted. I think we were trying to get Andrews down here to the boundary. They kicked Hilton over. Check it out. Just before the ball snapped. Battle is over here on Andrews, and Mike Hilton moves over before the snap, kicking Battle over to the field. We get the speed out to Tylan Wallace. Strong run, strong play, obviously, not only to break the tackle of CTB, but stay up the sideline and score. That one was huge from a momentum standpoint for us. We, of course, did miss the extra point thereafter. It's kind of like this Ravens team is always going to make things have as much drama as possible. It seems like, anyway, right now. Lamar was really sharp in this game, especially in the 3rd and 4th quarter. I think he had a perfect passer rating in the 4th quarter. I believe I saw that reported somewhere, and it shouldn't surprise us because everything he did was virtually perfect. This is Andrews' touchdown, I believe, that puts us up 28-21, excuse me. And it's been confirmed that this is supposed to be mesh with Bateman and Andrews both running underneath drags. And you can see, first of all, again, Rashad Bateman wide open with CTB as the player who's responsible for him. Lamar has already seen or recognized the adjustment that Andrews is making. If you recall, our answer against them in Week 5 against Stick Split 0 was a backside drag, and it was wide open. Bateman actually had a touchdown. Again, CTB was in coverage there. I don't feel like his play has come anywhere near the reputation and the evaluation I would have had of him coming into 2024. I don't know what that dynamic is because after last season, I thought he was really physically tough and smart and very savvy and aware. Look, Lamar has already recognized what Andrews is doing. It works out like a climb concept because the boundary side corner is chasing. Well, he should be chasing Rashad Bateman. He's not even hardly in the picture. Lamar had his choice of either guy there. He had already decided to go to Andrews. Probably, I would guess, right around this time, he recognized, I'm going to go to my guy. And watch Andrews' celebration, man. there's a little bit more to this celebration. I think this is more than just, hey, we just took the lead. We were down 21-20. Tucker missed the extra point, would have tied it at 21 after Tylan Wallace's touchdown. I think there's a little bit more to it for Andrews. I think this is like, I'm still here. I can still be this guy in these big moments. And my guy, Lamar, still trusts me, which is pretty cool. And then finally, this is going to be Bateman's touchdown, again against CTB. When I say that it's conceptually similar to the touchdown last year, it's obviously different from the release. He releases to the inside and then doubles back on this path. This is the fadeaway, the jump man by Lamar. As soon as he changes directions on CTB in the last 2 years, he just loses him. I mean, maybe we'll see this team again, and maybe that matchup won't be as heavily skewed or weighted in our favor. But right now, from what I'm seeing from Thursday night and some of the film from last year, Rashad Bateman versus CTB is a matchup that is heavily weighted in our favor. I don't know what the metrics say. I certainly don't give a damn what the PFF stuff says. All I know is when you watch the film, Bateman is getting open on that individual matchup, especially in key moments. As soon as he drops his hips here, puts that foot in the ground, and changes direction, it's over. Another DB is put in tremendous conflict because he's not sure if he should come forward, come downhill to go attack Lamar. The angle of the throw here is so similar to his touchdown to Bateman last year, and then the fadeaway. I mean, Lamar knew when he released it. We'll watch it one more time just because it's so much fun. Again, I was late in getting my videos out this week for reasons that there's nothing wrong, but tremendously fun one to try to accomplish first. I have a second one that'll come out about the Ravens defense probably Sunday morning that was no fun. That was no fun and doesn't involve there is some positives to take away from the game. Marlon Humphrey continues to give us clutch plays, make big plays. Has he returned to his 2019, 2020 form? I don't know. I mean, there's some times where coverage-wise he doesn't look good in the fourth quarter against the Bengals on Thursday Night Football. I would like to see him on Chase a little bit more often than we did so. We pretty much let Jamar Chase move around the formation, and we didn't line up in a way to stop him or take him away. We just kind of played our defense, ran our calls that Zach Orr made, and it didn't work. But on the other side of the ball, we have a guy, Lamar Jackson, who when he gets pissed off enough, when he gets focused enough, and when the chips are on the table, he's going to make big plays, especially against the Cincinnati Bengals. And again, that's not disrespectful towards them and their franchise and their defense, because I happen to think very highly of many of the guys that are still there. Sam Hubbard, Trey Hendrickson, Logan Wilson. Pratt is extremely underrated in my opinion. Von Bell is a player who I've always enjoyed watching. Well, when he's not playing against the Ravens, that is. Awuzie was a really high-level corner before his ACL injury. CTB, DJ Turner, Dax Hill, and those guys were supposed to come in and take his place or take over, and they just haven't. Lamar's taken advantage. Is part of it their DBs having trouble at times matching up with any receiver? Sure, I'm fine if people want to make that evaluation. I know Bengals fans are very upset with their corners. The bottom line is this. We have a lot of talent on offense. Bateman, Flowers have given them tremendous difficulty in the 2 games this year. Mark Andrews, in big moments like the ones you saw a moment ago, he makes plays and he's going to win his matchups. They have trouble matching up with us, just like we have trouble matching up with them. Almost reminds me of like NBA basketball in the late 70s, early 80s that was always like 146 to 1, not always, but 136 to 132 or 144 to 140. Those crazy, particularly that the Denver Nuggets played, those crazy games that involved a ton of offense, not much defense, but still fun to watch. It's more fun to watch the film now, knowing that we won the game and that Lamar stacked up just another highlight reel play against the Bengals. I'm not sure how one player could have ruined so much of a team in the last 2 seasons. When you look at our 27-24 win on the road last year, 2023, in Week 2, that was a huge moment. And then our Week 5 win, come from behind win in Cincinnati again this year, 3 times being down by 10. We come back and win in overtime. And again, this Thursday evening, we're down 14. Lamar brings us back 4 consecutive touchdowns, gets us to 7-3, a 7-3 record that I think is a soft 7-3 record. I'll explain that a little bit more in some of my content later this week. We got 10 days before our matchup with the Steelers. I think we've got work to do on both sides of the football. Nonetheless, I think that it's a game that the Ravens can go in there and win. I appreciate you guys' time, man. If you enjoyed the video, please let me know in the comment section. Number one. Number two, if you think other Ravens fans would enjoy this film study / commentary about how the Bengals have proven to be a perfect foil for Lamar Jackson, because they've given him a platform, they've given him multiple ways and opportunities to put highlight reel plays out there on his film, and he's done so. If you think other Ravens fans would enjoy this, then please consider grabbing a link to it, sharing it out on social media to help this content get more reach.